Today on Horror Movie Talk, we're going to be talking about Happy Death Day. Without further ado, let's get this video started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Knights of Horror, and I'm Anthony, and today we're talking about Happy Death Day. We're going to go full spoilers and full review. So if you guys haven't seen Happy Death Day, you guys are planning on seeing it, pause this video, go to the movies, go check it out. I highly recommend it, and then come back and we can break down this movie together. Also, this is a new series I'm starting called Horror Movie Talk, where not only will it be just new movies, but it's also going to be old horror movies that I find interesting. We're going to talk a variety of things on Horror Movie Talk. It could be either about just the movie itself, how good it was, review, or fan theories, everything. I can already guarantee you the next Horror Movie Talk I am going to be doing is between two right now. They're both going to come out eventually, but the next one I'm not too sure yet. It's between Jigsaw and The Shining. Be sure to stay tuned to that, and I guarantee you this is going to be a good series because I love talking about horror movies. So without further ado, let's get to Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day was quite a ride. And when I mean quite a ride, I mean quite a ride. You know, the movie starts out, you know, she wakes up first time. You see her day, her routine through that whole day that she keeps reliving over and over again. As the movie progresses, we see you know, stuff starts to piece together, and we see a lot of interesting details to pay attention as each day she relives each day, goes on and on and on. You have to pay attention to like the background details, and you have to pay attention to details that they will show you for a second, and it's gonna come back fresh in your memory. An example of this is early on in the movie when the killer is in her room, and she has tried to barricade herself up in the room. But then the killer is in the bathroom and comes out and attacks her. Before the killer comes out and attacks her, we see on the TV that someone insane has broken out of like an asylum or something, or broken out of a hospital because he had shot cops and he was dressed as the baby-faced killer. So yeah, you got to pay attention to the little details in this movie because either something's going to change or you're just going to not remember something and you're going to lose track of where the movie's going. So yeah. I found it interesting that it was like a Groundhog Day scenario where her birthday was on September 18th. The Groundhog Day is like in February or January or something like that. So, yeah, let's just talk about the movie in general now. You know, she wakes up, relives the same day over and over again, and her goal is to try to find her killer. Now, each day is something different, and she starts freaking out after the third day. She realizes the second day was kind of like a deja vu sort of day, or a dream of some sort, but after the third day she realizes she's living the same day over and over and she's dying different deaths, and eventually she kind of just goes not crazy, but she's just trying to figure out why this is happening. It happens on her birthday, which also happens to be the same day of her mom's birthday. Her mom had also passed away. You hear about the mom a lot. Or you're not really a lot, but you hear, you know, you hear little bits and parts, and then they kind of just, you put it all together. Every morning that the day starts, her dad calls her, but she never answers her dad's call. She is sort of kind of mad at her dad. She kind of blames her dad for the whole death thing, and she just doesn't want anything really to do with her dad. But as the movie progresses, she realizes how much of a fucking bad person she was. So she tries to change that and everything. You should see the sorority she's in. I mean, they treat people like shit, and it's just bad. Towards the end of the movie, you know, you see her take her steps in overthrowing the leader of the sorority, kind of pouring chocolate milk on her and stuff. You know, like she kind of just realizes that she's living a shitty life and she wants to change it as each day progresses and she's dying. Another thing I found interesting is when she goes to the doctor's office, the doctor x-rays her and finds out that she's getting internal damage from all the times she's dying. Now the doctor doesn't know that she's dying over and over again, but she knows, and as she dies more and more, it's ruining the inside of her body. They do a good x-ray of what her ribs are actually supposed to look like and how they look like now. And the doctor said that he is very surprised that she's alive. It should be impossible that she's still alive, but she is still alive. And all in all, this movie was just kind of like, you know, sitting there and you see each day progress, and you're just kind of like, okay, how is she gonna die now? I thought a funny part of the movie too, and they kind of did make it a comedy part. The love interest Carter, which he likes her, but in the beginning she doesn't really like him, and towards the end she finds out what he actually did for her, and everything. Because you see Carter every morning she wakes up. So Carter finally comes out and says, you know, you kind of assume they slept together. So Carter comes out and say, no, I never slept with you. You were too drunk. You were too messed up. I didn't want to take advantage of you. So I slept on the other bed. When she kind of hears that, she kind of was like, okay, this guy's an actually good guy. He didn't try to get me drunk just to sleep with me, which sounds like a lot of guys have tried to do to her in the past. But what's funny to me is when she finally tells Carter what's going on, like a Groundhog Day scenario, Carter tells her, you make a list of suspects you think are trying to kill you and cross them off one by one, spy on them maybe to see if they are the ones that are trying to kill you. And it was funny because as she's going through her list of suspects and she starts spying on them, the killer for some reason finds everywhere she goes. And to me it was just kind of funny because like there's some pretty stupid deaths in there. There's like one where he tackles her into a fountain and he just drowns her, but I just thought it was kind of funny because the way he tackled her, it was like a spear in wrestling, and it was just hilarious. Let's move on to the twist ending though. So you know what? In the beginning of the movie, the first time she wakes up, it's the first day. She hasn't relived the same day at all. This is like first time go around. It was funny to me because you're seeing all the people she treats like shit, and you just kind of call out, oh, that's the killer, oh, that's the killer, oh, that's the killer. And the one person who I didn't really at least expect to be the killer ended up being the killer. But after how much I've seen, and she explains how much she's treated her like shit, I can see why she was the killer. So here we go, full blown. I mean, you've made it this far with all the spoilers I've already said, so this is it. This is the full blown major spoiler alert. Ending, ruining, however you want to put it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to click off and go. Alright guys, so here goes the ending. So, you suspect it's the killer of the guy who killed the cops and then who ended up being in the hospital, and you find out he escapes the hospital. Well, early on in the movie we do see, like I said, you hear a glimpse of that report on TV when she meets the killer, when she has her room boarded up and everything. You hear a glimpse of that, but she turns off the TV. She pays no attention to that. When she's in the restaurant, she finally pays attention. She asks the server to turn up the TV so she can hear it, and she thinks that this guy is the killer. Then she goes down to the hospital. The first time she tried killing him, the killer killed Carter. She fell in love with Carter, so she killed herself one last time in order to save Carter's life. So then the next day she's all ready. She goes to dinner with her dad. She apologizes to her dad, and she does so much things to kind of make her life better. She realizes she's been a shitty person all of her life, and she wants to just make everything better, make everything cool. So she goes to the hospital again, and then this time she goes and actually kills the killer. Well, after that you kind of think that's it. And every morning she waked up, you hear a bell toll, which was the school bell. It's like a big kind of like church bell thing. So you think that was it, but then she wakes up and she's reliving the same day again. Well, what was really the matter was someone on the inside of the hospital set the killer up in order to kill her. Let me go back because I actually missed a major detail in the movie. As she really thought it was that one guy, she goes home that night, and she goes and the friend's there. She apologizes to her friend, and then ends up eating the cupcake that she keeps trying to give her throughout the movie, but she either keeps throwing it away or just doesn't have time to eat it and just sets it down or anything. But then you find out that this cupcake she eats, after she eats it, she falls asleep. Then she wakes up, living the same day over and over again. You find out actually that the friend, her roommate, who's actually the doctor, now you're starting to piece it together, poisoned the cupcake because she wanted to kill her. She wanted to kill her roommate for treating her like shit, for sleeping with the guy that she actually liked. And you find out the roommate was trying to kill her the entire time. You find out the roommate's behind everything. The roommate set up everything. Like, she had the insane guy as a patient, so she put the knife, the mask, everything on him, so so he can go kill her. You find out this guy is actually killing a lot of these sorority girls, so it kind of just made sense to go kill her on her birthday. But then as she finds out, she pieces it together and starts putting one and one together. Her roommate thinks she's kind of going insane because she's lived the same day over and over. I think it was a total of 16 times or something like that. And she starts just going insane, piecing everything together. And then the roommate actually breaks out and starts trying to kill her. But long story short, they get into a big old fight in the room. They break a lot of shit. She ends up throwing her out of the... Actually, she ends up grabbing the chandelier and kicking her out of the window. And she falls to her death. And that was the end of Happy Death Day. And you find out who the killer was. One thing they did at the end of the movie, which kind of almost pissed me off, but at the same time, it kind of gets you to the point where it's like, okay, you guys just threw that in and it'd be fucking funny. And I can get that. Blumhouse tends to do that in some of their movies. I wouldn't say all their movies, because a lot of their movies are major horror movies like Conjuring, Annabelle, or Insidious. But what they did to kind of throw you off at the end is they relived the scene over again. And she starts freaking out, but then Carter just kind of played it. As far as I was concerned, I don't think there was no post-credit scenes, but if you're one of the people who stayed after and looked it up, or there was a post-credit scene, let me know in the comments. I don't think there was, though. But all in all, I was really hyped for this movie. I actually didn't find out about this movie until they announced The Maze at Horror Nights for the Horrors of Blumhouse, which was Purge, Happy Death Day, and Sinister. So after I found out that they announced this Maze, I actually immediately went to go watch the trailer. I was hooked on it. I was excited to see who the killer was. So I actually went on Thursday night to go see this movie, and I was just like ready to see who the killer was, because you know the commercial leaves you with she's living the same day over and over, and so you're obviously curious to see who's going to be the killer. Walking through the maze now, I kind of understand it a little bit more. I would like to go back and try to go through the maze, although I know I'm not going to be able to go through Horror Nights again this year. I think next year though, I am going to get the frequent fear pass, so I can go multiple nights. And yeah, dude, that's about it though. I was just super stoked for this movie, and it lived up to my expectations. After meeting Jason Blum though, I'm kind of like, you know, I changed my whole opinion about Blumhouse. I never had a problem with Blumhouse, but I just respect them more. But all in all, it was a great movie. So yeah, guys, a couple of announcements. Finishing off the movie review. This is going to be a new series starting, well, obviously this week. I already did one movie review, I think, or two movie reviews. I think I did one movie review. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. It was great. But I want to make this a new series where I talk about horror movies called Horror Movie Talk. And like I said, either the next one might be The Shining or Jigsaw. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Shining though, because Jigsaw has 2 more weeks till it comes out. So this will be probably the second video I will put up every week, along with the video I already have planned.